What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for Cartel Cruise Season 2, Episode 7. So this episode, they were sort of laying the this is one of those filler episodes I feel like they were laying the foundation for the rest of the season. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So we saw Eddie meeting up with Magic, and they had a really good conversation, and a couple of things they talked about. One thing they talked about was trying to go legit, you know, trying to get their records expunged, getting an early release, not expunged, but trying to get that early release like what Michael got last season. And Eddie was just talking, Magic was just talking to Eddie about, adjusting to life outside, like how things are going. And they were having a good conversation, and he was like, yeah, I'm really trying to just, keep it on the straight and narrow, but I know, I'm under the radar. Like, any false move I make, I know what my consequence is. And Magic was like, yeah, they got you under lock and key, but you just got to do the right thing. And so then they started talking about going legit. And, Magic was like, once I went legit, I realized how easy it was to go legit. And how if I had just put a little bit more effort into finding something legit on the beginning, I would have saved myself a whole lot of heartache on the back end. And, I don't know if you guys used to look at, like, I know there used to be this show called American Gangster that used to come on after the movie came out. Then BET, it was like BET or TV1, I can't remember which one. They did a show called American Gangster where they were basically highlighting a lot of the drug kingpins from the 1980s and 90s. And then there was also this show called Mobsters that I used to look at. And again, once you heard these people's story and you heard what they were doing and how they were running these billion-dollar businesses and stuff like that, and you realize these were some Fortune 500 minds that got into the drug game. But if they had taken that mindset on the legit side, man, oh man. And that's kind of what he was saying. And then they talked about the challenge that they were having raising young men, because of course they don't want their sons to make the same mistakes they made. And he was saying how, Eddie was saying how, he's worried that when they get when the word gets out, when his sons find out who his father was, he was like, I'm really worried that, they're going to try to go that way. Like, that's not what I want for them, but I'm just really worried that that's the direction that I'm going to see them go in. So then they talked about Cat and his relationship with Cat and everything. And he was just saying how, he's really trying to prove to her that he is trying to be a better man. Like, he wants to be with her. He wants it to work out. He's not running the streets. He's not doing anything. He's just trying to prove that to her. So it was a really, really good conversation that I think the two of them had. And again, it was the kind of stuff that you want to hear in relationship to people realizing that they made some bad decisions and wanting to make better decisions and change the whole outlook or whatever. Then we see Michael having a conversation with Marie. And he was saying how he kept getting these weird phone calls. He's like, no ID numbers. And he was like, look, I don't answer numbers that come from from blocked numbers or don't have caller ID. He said, but the person kept calling. So I got a little curious and I answered the phone. And make a long story short, because I ain't dragging this out. It was El Chapo's wife calling him. And of course they built it up this whole, they built this whole thing up with him going to see El Chapo's wife and what could she want. And, he said, my mom didn't really do business with him, but they know a lot of the same people. They did business with a lot of the same people. And, he's like, I just can't imagine, and it was just real nefarious. His lawyer said, well, I can't talk to you on this line, and just real, like, they built it up that it was going to be like this real. And then, of course, that they're not going to put nothing on the show that's Michael doing anything illegal, but it was just really weird. Like, that whole build up was really weird. And I'll get to that at the end. So we see, Diana talking to, what's her name? I could see her face. The singer, the one I had, the Bobby, but no, Boop, no. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Hold on. I'm gonna get her name. Hold on. Betty. I was trying to call her Bobby, Boopy, whatever, but Betty. Anyway, so, they were basically, Diana was telling her about the trip, to go visit her husband or ex-husband in jail and everything and how that went down. And so she started talking to her about, we know she had the fundraiser for the children at the border, and she was saying how, even though the end of it turned into a shit show, we raised a lot of money, and now she's going to go out to San Diego to participate in a protest, and she wants to actually go to the border, and she's going to take the ladies with her. I'm not building this up. I'm not dragging this out. She's taking the ladies with her, including Stephanie and Kat. She said, we squashed it, and at this time, the more the merrier. The mission is bigger than our different, problems that we might be having, So then we see Stephanie meet up with, no. Then we see Kat and Eddie. And I'm not dragging none of this out, okay? I'm not dragging this out either. They had a conversation about their relationship, because I guess they haven't really been speaking since dinner the other night. And, Eddie was like, look, that was for you. Like, I did that for you to show you how much I care about you, to show you how much, I really want this to work. And here's my thing, Kat. And I understand you were hurt by this man. I understand this man did a lot of stuff to you. But I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. If you can't forgive somebody without throwing it in their face what they did to you, then you're not ready to forgive them. So my thing to you is this. You're clearly not ready to forgive him. And nobody's saying you have to be. I'm not saying you have to forgive this man. I'm not saying you have to be ready to forgive this man. But what I am going to say is, if you are not ready to forgive him, let him go. Let him go. It's not fair to keep him around and have him think that y'all are going to work this out and be in this relationship together. And every time this man is trying to do something for you, you throw in his face what he did and how y'all relationship went down. Because, again, I'm not defending his bad behavior, and I'm not telling you that you have to forgive him. But you can't have it both ways. And when you saying that, and basically what he said to you was, what do I need to do to get you to let go of the past? And what you told him basically was, there's nothing you can do. I'm never going to let go of that because you hurt me and I'm not ready to let go. So then if you're not ready to let go of what he did to you, then you're not ready to start a relationship with him, because that's not fair to him. Now, that's my 2 cents, and that's how I feel about it. And again, I'm not defending what he did. He cheated on you while you were pregnant with his child. I'm not defending that. However, you're the one that allowed him to come back into your life when he got out of jail. He wasn't living with you. He was, doing what he had to do, and he was co-parenting. You wanted to have that family unit back. So you got to make a decision. Either you're going to forgive him and y'all are going to move forward, or you can't let that go and you're going to dwell in it. And that's that. That's my 2 cents anyway. So then we see Kat and Stephanie meet up. And again, they're basically talking about, she doesn't understand why she hasn't gotten her record contract yet from Young Money. She doesn't know what the holdup is. She doesn't know if it's because of the rumors that she was sleeping with Lil Wayne. She doesn't know if it's something else. But at the end of the day, it's kind of holding her in a whole pattern. And, she needs to figure out her next move. And then they decided they're going to go to the border. Again, I'm not drawing this out. I'm going to say this. If you go back to the beginning of last season, she said she was signed to Young Money. Now, you're in this whole pattern, and you're not signed to Young Money. So, I don't know. I don't know why you're not signed to Young Money. I don't know what the hesitation is. But at this point, if nothing you've done has convinced them to sign you, then it's probably not going to work. It's probably just not a move they're ready to make right now. Maybe they'll be ready to make it later, but certainly don't wait on it, because it doesn't seem to be coming. Nicole and her boo. He took her out to a nice romantic restaurant. I think it was like either he rented out a space, or it's like a hole in the wall space specifically built for this type of thing where you want to, wine and dine. And it was really nice. They had the music playing, and they had a private chef, and it was really cool. And he even told the chef, maybe I can pay you to teach her how to cook, because why does child put flour on bacon? The child tried to deep fry the bacon. She put flour to cook the bacon. No wonder the bacon was so damn burnt. Did y'all saw that bacon, how burnt my child? So she was like, of course I am, babe. Of course I'm going to learn how to cook. And basically he opened up to her. And he told her, some things that went on in his life. His mom I think he said his mom was incarcerated for part of his life and a lot of things that he went through. And he said, basically because of how I was raised, I'm not very open to relationships. Basically, he was in a nice way letting her know this not going to be anything more than what it is. You a good time girl. I like coming to Miami to see you. I like knowing that when I come down to Miami, I got somebody that I like hanging out with. Because I think he likes her. I don't think he's using her or anything. I think he likes her. But I don't think he wants anything more than what they have. Because here's the thing. Why he always flying to Miami to see you? Why isn't he flying you to Denver to see him? I get it that he's a basketball player and he travels and all of that. But it's the off season now. And later on in the episode, he's calling her from Vegas, where he's in Vegas with his manager and all this. And now he's saying, well, I'm going to be busy until after free agent season. And then it's going to be this, and it's going to be that. And y'all know how basketball season is. Hell, it's going to be time for training camp before you know it. The season doesn't end until June, depending on how far in the playoffs you go. And then they got the summer leagues in Vegas, and then you back in training camp. And so, he was very nicely letting her know. But again, I think you scared him off talking about babies and all this other stuff. I think he does like you. And I think had you just kind of let things work a natural progression, maybe it would have been a little bit more. I don't know. But he's very nicely letting you know this is it. This is what we're going to do. This is what I'm going to come to Miami. And when I come to Miami, we'll hang out. But it's really probably not going to be a whole lot more than that. Because like I said, all the times he was in the playoffs, he never sent you a ticket to come see him play. Like, that's like baller move 101. Yeah, I'm in the playoffs. Why don't you come see me? Come down and hang out. Like, I don't understand. So, and Nicole knows it. I mean, she was definitely upset, and, which I understand. She was definitely upset and everything. But she knows, she knows that he was basically letting her down easy. And so I guess that's the end of that. I don't know. I don't really... Because he basically was telling her he didn't have time to come to Miami. And like I said, you could have very easily sent her a plane ticket to Vegas. Like, you're in Vegas on business. You're not playing every night. You can't... Like, if this is somebody you're interested in, you're serious about being with, you can't fly them out to Vegas to come and spend a couple of days with you while you doing business? Child. So that's what it told me, that you just wasn't interested. But what I can appreciate is that he was nice about it. He wasn't nasty to her. He didn't embarrass her, because they filming for this show. He didn't embarrass her. You know what I mean? So I can appreciate that. So anyway, the ladies are going to San Diego. All the ladies on board, and they're buying a bunch of supplies to take with them. And they're talking about how bad the camps are, and how horrible this whole policy is of separating parents from their children and everything like that. Marie talked about, having to be separated from her kids and how bad that was and everything like that. So, the other thing Eddie talked about too, which I think will lend, I just thought about this, which will lend to why he probably really wants things to work with Kat. He said his dad cheated on his mother, and he hated his dad for it, but it wasn't until he was in jail that he understood the connection between what he did to Kat and what his dad did to his mom, and how that made him feel as a child. And so I think that's another reason why this relationship, he really wants to prove to Kat that he's different, and he's a different person. So last but not least, Michael and Marie, they get on the boat. They go and have this secret meeting with El Chapo's wife, and Michael told Marie, like, it would be disrespectful for me to show up to this meeting by myself. Like, that would be disrespectful as a man for me to show up to this meeting with this man's wife by myself. So you going. Because Marie was like, at first Marie was like, oh no, I don't have nothing to do with that. Yeah, I know Marie don't be playing. But he was like, nah, you have to go. Like, out of respect, you have to go. So they go to the meeting, and they meet on this yacht, honey, this beautiful yacht, honey, down into the Miami. And basically, she wants to talk to, she wants to create some legit businesses because she got to do something with all that money. And she's talking to Michael about starting a clothing line. And he was just talking about how when he first started Narcos, nobody wanted any parts of him because of his name. Because of the name Narcos, nobody wanted to be associated with the name Narcos. And he said, and he was telling her, he was like, look, I'm telling you now, it's going to be hard. People are going, the things that It took me a long time for people to take me seriously as a brand. It took me a long time for people to understand that I was legit, that I wasn't using it as a front to do other things. But he said that he would definitely, help her out, work with her or what have you. And they had a good conversation. And then Marie was telling her about what they were planning to do as far as going to the border and everything. And she was saying how, she really liked Mexico, but of course she would, So anyway, so that's what that was. They built that up to be a whole lot of nothing. And I knew it wasn't going to be, because there's nowhere in the world that there really could have been anything nefarious, illegal. You know what I mean? It couldn't have really been no whole lot going on with that. So, I knew it wasn't going to be all that. But it was interesting that is what she wanted. That she wants to, try to create some legitimate businesses. So, I can respect that. Anyway, that's what it was. Let me know what y'all think. Drop the comments. Peace.